This was one of the first that really hooked me up. I was really digging on these cats, but I would have to say it was probably Staring at the Sun. No, it wasn't. What's the one that Earth, Wind & Fire did with them? The one that had Living It Up, The Sun Goes Down. Yes. And I am the Lord of the Loop, the Baron of the Blend. And in this case, if you dig level 42, you can definitely be my friend. Cats hailing from the UK and really came on the scene heavy with that jazz funk shit, man. Them first three were killer. And then, of course, they went a little bit poppy, you know, after that. But it was cool. And primarily, they were known for the hits. This joint that I just rocked behind to the back, that was Something About You. The Sun Goes Down, like I said before, with Living It Up, produced by Verdine White, I want to say. And it was somebody else from Earth, Wind & Fire, but I know Verdine had his hand in that thing. Nice joint, too. Also, they were known for Lessons in Love and Funky Ass Star Child, which was sampled a few times as well. But that's back during the jazz funk, the early shit. But right now, we own this World Machine that Level 42 put out. And this was in 85. They put it out on Polydor Records. The hits off of it, of course, was the joint that I kind of dubbed in there, which was Something About You. Leaving Me Now was a single in addition to World Machine, but Something About You was that one that really made that splash for them. It got them out of the jazz funk. It got them more so into the commercially known pop world, and it was a dope ass song though too. But my shit, of course, is the joint I got rocking over here on Turntable 1, which is Good Man in a Storm. Old boy's beating the hell out of that bass on that thing, you feel me? Between him and Philip on them drums, that shit's funky. Come on now. Also, Physical Presence was dope. I Sleep on My Heart was cool. It's Not the Same for Us and Lying Still. Those were my favorites off of this. Produced by them and Wally Batteroo. Again, we had Mark King thumping the hell out of that bass and providing most of the lead vocals. Phil Gold on the drums, hellified cat. And Roland Boone Gold, his brother, on guitar. Mike Lindup on the keys and vocals. Gary Barnacle on that sax. And of course, again, Wally Batteroo on them keys. And he contributed quite a bit to the success of Level 42 throughout those years. Recorded at Maison Rouge Studios. The engineer was Carlos Ohms. Mixed by Julian Medelson. Art direction, Alwyn Clayton. Photography, Mike Trevelyan and Ian McClell. Design graphics, Red Ranch. And again, it is a must that we give love to everyone that was involved in the collective process or creative process in this thing coming into fruition. Everybody had a hand. You know, normally we give love to the main artist, but it was that engineer that knew how to set those mics up just right. It was the art direction where it keeps that vivid memory of what you have of the front and the back of the cover. You know what I'm saying? But the notables and oddities for me on this was, and they do not need a goddammy, because this thing went double platinum. I want to say they sold close to 3 million copies on this thing, which of course is a good and a bad thing. This reached the Billboard number 7 on the top 100 singles charts, And again, it was a good and a bad thing because this album somewhat created an artistic riff between the band members. So between the drummer, Phil Gold, and Mark King on that badass bass, they had a different idea and directions. And surprisingly, before they split from one another, the guitarist, Phil's brother, Boone, went off and did his own thing. So even though, and salute to Level 42 because they are still doing their thing, it's just a different group and they're supporting Mark King nowadays. And peace and love goes out to Alan Holsworth, who stepped in for a hot second and held it down on guitar. So this is, of course, on the major streaming platforms in addition to CD, cassette, LP, but on the streaming platforms and the CD that was released, the 30th anniversary version, there are some additional tracks that were included that were some live cuts. All right. Be sure to follow these cats on www.level42.com, Facebook Level 42 Official, Instagram Level 42 Official, as well as Twitter, X, all the same thing. Again, on the major streaming platforms and physical copies available, but please be sure to reach out to these cats. Again, a lot of these cats were doing this thing early in the game. So show them love in addition to, and I apologize, I do not have the individual musicians' contact information, but it would be really appreciative if you would reach out to them and just let them know that you appreciated what they were putting down and not necessarily the entire catalog. If you were just feeling a few albums, please reach back to them and let them know that. Because as funky as this is, oh man, again, Good Man in a Storm, this is certainly rhythmic residue right here. Of course, be sure to support the gatekeepers of the groove. We are not affiliated with any of them in any way. We just appreciate what they do in terms of respect and preservation. My name is Art Appreciation, for that's who I am and that's what I do. Respect the rhythm and rock on.